Now, Kerri Watt's last single, Long Way Home, was a massive favourite here on Radio 2. We're playing some really good music here today. It was on the A-list playlist for Yonks. So it's great to see you in person, Kerri. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, lovely to see you. I know you're born in Glasgow, but you hang out up there?
Well, no, I lived in Glasgow till I was 16,
Yep.
and then I moved to California to try pursue a career in the entertainment industry.
Well, you've just gone straight into my first question, because that's what I wanted to talk. I mean, I remember when my kids were 16, and much as I love them and admire them, especially as I do now, I cannot imagine them having to get up and go to get on a plane and go for a year to California to study.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an amazing thing. What were you doing there?
Well, I found out about this school there. It was a high school because obviously I was still young, and they basically just focused on music and drama.
Mm-hmm.
And so I convinced my parents I had to audition for this place, and they were like, okay.
So it was an audition thing, was it?
So I auditioned,
right.
And then when I got accepted to the school,
Can I interrupt? Did you audition in this country, or did you have to go to
I
California?
had to go over there.
So it was a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Right, go on. So you passed the audition.
So, yeah, I was in the middle of my higher exams, which I think is similar to A-levels.
Yeah.
And so I skipped out on some of my studying, went over, auditioned, and when I got accepted, I said to my parents, well, I have to go. That's it.
Weren't you nervous?
I think I was just so excited and had such big stars in my eyes. I just thought it was, like a total dream.
It's almost like something out of a film, isn't it?
A little
Kind of a
bit.
teen flick sort of thing. Yeah?
Yeah.
Which part of California were you in?
I was in South Orange County.
Oh, wow.
Very beautiful part of the world.
What town?
It's called Dana Point,
Okay.
which is next to Laguna Beach.
So where did you live then?
I lived with a girl. It's all a crazy story. The way I found out about the school was the year before. I'd met a girl while I was on holiday on the beach, and who told me about it, and we became pen pals and used to send each other. I would send her Galaxy chocolate from here, she would send me Fruit Loops cereal from the States. And when I told her I was auditioning for this school and I really wanted to go, she said, oh, well, my brothers are just going to college, so we've got room in our house. And her parents were really nice and said, yeah,
Wow.
come live with us.
And were you a good daughter? Did you phone home a lot? Did you write home? Did you
I
did you email?
I did. I think Skype had just started to.
Where would we be without Skype?
Yeah, or it was some kind of video messaging. I remember trying to make it work, and
Yeah.
it was a bit.
So okay, then you spent a year there,
Yes.
and then came back.
Yeah.
And what did you bring back with you? What kind of potential? Because you're still only 17. What kind of potential performer were you then that you wouldn't have been if you'd not gone to California?
Well, I just gained this whole knowledge of other styles of music that I'd never experienced, country and blues, and growing up in Glasgow, I only really listened to kind of what was on the radio, pop, and I loved Britney Spears when I was growing up. So I came back with this whole new understanding of music, and what I really learned over there was a lot about harmony, and kind of honed my piano skills and things like that, and it just...
So you really can teach popular music. It's not just something which, you sort of learn in the pubs and the clubs and sort of, scale your way up that way. You can actually, I'm not saying it's a shortcut, but you can actually learn some very basic verities and truths about it that you can then put to good use.
I think so, definitely, yeah.
Well, when you came back, I mean, one of the things you did, you were on tour with Marty Pellow, from Wet, 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 as was, who's a lovely guy, but not singing. You were on stage with him, weren't you?
Yeah,
in a performance.
I was acting,
You were
and
acting,
dancing, and I toured around the UK with him in a musical called Jekyll and Hyde.
Right.
It was my first professional job. I played the paper boy.
The paper boy.
That's right.
Well, your hair up under a
very
hat.
androgynous paper boy. And because I played the paper boy in one scene, the next scene I was a posh lady, so I was a paper boy with a little bit of mascara, but a skip cap over my hair. So,
But I read when I was reading up all the notes about you last night, and sometimes they're not that accurate, but I'll take a punt on this. You were backstage at one point on this tour, and you picked up a guitar.
Yeah.
And this was a seminal moment. This was a moment where suddenly it flipped from
Right.
the stagecraft and stuff and the acting to the singing. What happened there? What was the experience?
Well, we were spending so much time backstage. We had long days in the theatre, and we were only really on the stage for 2.5 hours, and so I had a lot of downtime. And one of the other guys in the tour had brought a guitar along, and I just picked it up one day, and I thought, show me a couple chords. And I just thought, wow, that's amazing. I'd always played piano, but the guitar just seemed so much cooler. And I just became really fascinated by it and went home and looked up 100 best guitarists of all time and started watching videos of them and watching YouTube Jimi Hendrix tutorials, and that's how I sort of learned to play.
Wow. I play guitar, and I do remember the very first chord that I played. I was 14, and we had a music teacher called Nigel Patterson. I don't know if he's still with us or not, but he used to accompany Paul Simon when Paul Simon came and toured in the UK before the Sounds of Silence album became big, and he taught us guitar. And I remember that feeling when you actually pick up a guitar, which you've only ever seen other people playing, and you get your fingers into the, what was it, the E chord or the A chord, whatever, the easiest one, and you strum it, and you can't believe that you're making the guitar talk. It is an incredible moment, isn't it? I can see why it would have launched you, in your brain, that this is it, this is what I want to do.
Totally. And that thing when you're starting to learn to play the chords, and that day, like a few weeks into it, when it clicks and you can suddenly quickly transition from one chord to the next, where it used to take you 50 seconds.
Picking your thing, where you get that one, no, don't. Yeah. I remember that so well. And your fingers don't hurt anymore.
Exactly.
Your fingers don't hurt anymore.
They become all hard and horrible.
That's right. Well, look, let's hear you sing. You're going to do 2 tracks for us this morning. The second one's going to be a cover, isn't it?
That's right.
Of Bob Dylan. And I was listening to you in rehearsal, and it sounded fabulous.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that'll be the third cover we've had on the show this morning. 2 live, one on tape. Okay, what's the first one?
The first song I'm going to sing is Long Way Home, which you mentioned earlier. A song I feel really passionately about, and I'm excited to sing it.
It's a beautiful song.
Thank you. The shadows start to fall. Break the silence, hold me close, tell me what's underneath it all. 'Cause you're keeping me awake, and I lie here wishing you could find the words you want to say. The timing wasn't right, but there's no point in pretending that our stars did not align. Or should I say collide? I know that I can keep you near, and although you have to leave me here, we'll always have the stars above. You know it, you know it. Distance cannot change this love. You know it, you know it. Baby, it's a long way. It's a long way home. Baby, it's a long way. It's a long way home. You made up your mind. Maybe all of this attention is just you being kind. So I won't overthink. It's taken me too long to see I'm already good enough for me. We'll always have the stars above. You know it, you know it. Distance cannot change this love. You know it, you know it. But baby, it's a long way. It's a long way home. Baby, it's a long way. It's a long way home. Baby, it's a long way. It's a long way home. Baby, it's a long way. It's a long way home. Another moment passing us by, and the trees are touching the sky, so it looks from where we lie. We'll always have the stars above. You know it, you know it. Distance cannot change this love. You know it, you know it. And baby, it's a long way. It's a long way home. It's a long way home.
I'm having such a good time this morning. Alison Moyer in the first hour, and you in this. That was amazing. When did you write that?
Thank you. It was in March of this year.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
That recently?
Yeah, we were out in Morocco. It was one of those songs where we didn't really have a plan to release anything over the summer. And when I wrote it, I just thought, wow.
Well, in that case, I have to ask you, how old are you now? Can I ask you that?
I'm 24.
24. How did you feel, having written that and laid the track down, to get the call? I presume somebody called you to say that Radio 2, which is the biggest music station in the UK, in Europe, in fact, had picked it on its playlist A-list.
What was so great about when I got that call was I was actually in the studio with Richard Madeley, the guitarist of Embrace, who produced the track. Mm-hmm. So I was with him, and it was just like such an exciting, euphoric moment for us both that I'll not forget.
I bet the first people you called were your parents.
Yeah. And my mum's like, I'm busy. What is it? I'm like, what? Oh, can I just borrow you for 2 seconds?
What are they called? What are their first names, your parents?
Yvonne and Neil.
Okay, are they listening now?
They are, yeah.
I get the impression that they're pretty supportive. I mean, they allowed you to go to California at 16, and just, cross their fingers. Did they have to pay for that, by the way? Was it a paid-for placement?
Some of it.
Some of it, right? Yeah. Okay, so they had to back you with hard cash.
Some the school paid for, and then obviously the accommodation was free, which was very lovely.
But anyway, it was a big decision, that. And then when you came back, after a while, you went back to live with them so you could write. You needed some peace and quiet. Just to write. Is that it?
That's right. I just really wanted to focus my mind on, this transition from the theatre into music, and take some time to really hone my guitar skills, because I wanted to go out there and do the whole gigging thing and do it the old school way. Loads of my heroes, like you mentioned, I'm going to play this Bob Dylan track, and I love the Rolling Stones, and I just love their stories of how they made it and how they did the rounds. And so I felt it was really important to really learn to play my instrument properly so people take me seriously. So
did you do that basically in your old bedroom?
Yeah.
on your old single bed?
Yeah, and I had no social life for about 2 years. I just sat on my bed, and in the middle of the night I'd sit in my bathroom so no one could hear.
Well, because your parents say, stop, please, we're trying to get to sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. And that was for a period of years?
Yeah, well, a couple years, or a year and a half.
You mentioned influences. Is it true that the first, as you remember it now, the first musical influence was when you were about 2, and it was Michael Jackson's Bad?
That's right.
Yeah?
I feel like I still remember. I don't know if I've seen a video of it, but I just have this vision. I know my parents used to have the VHS of the Bad tour, and of me in my cot in a big Michael Jackson Pepsi T-shirt that was my dad's, watching it on the TV.
Watching it over and over. I bet rewind, press play, all of that. Of course, remember the days when you said that, rewind and press play. You don't.
Yeah.
I do. Other influences, I mean, you're going to cover a Dylan song now. Which one are you covering?
I Don't Think Twice.
That's right, you Don't Think Twice. Why him? There are a million reasons for thinking that Dylan is so influential on all music today. What is it for you about him that works?
Being totally honest, growing up, I heard his songs and actually saw him play live, and I was like, I don't really, don't get it. I was young and I was into pop music.
You'd have to leave the studio now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm talking when I was young,
Okay.
But then when I started to really learn more about music and learn that it wasn't just about jumping around and dancing, because I used to
Britney
dance
Spears,
too.
yeah.
Exactly. And I started learning about the guitar, and I watched quite a few documentaries on him, and I just became fascinated with him as a person and the way that he crafted his songs, and he was definitely very influential in my songwriting. And the song Don't Think Twice is really special to me. It's the cover that I've played over the last couple of years here and there when I feel there's an appropriate moment for it, because it's brings the tone down quite a bit. But actually with this song, the reason I love this song so much, it was Joan Baez's version that made me fall in love with it. And obviously she had that relationship with Bob Dylan. So
isn't it interesting? I mean, I'm so much older than you, which means that I've heard the Dylan version and all the other covers of Don't Think Twice a million times.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that familiarity breeds contempt, but there does come a point when you've heard it so many times that it's bound to lose its impact. You've just heard it so many times. But if you can try and sort of put fresh ears on again and listen to the lyrics and the melody as if it was for the first time, and you realise what an extraordinary song it is.
Yeah.
What a beautiful song it is, beautifully put together. And how does covering making things like Dylan work, do your people have to talk to his people, obviously, and get? Does he have to give permission? Does he have to say, yeah, you can sing my song?
I think just as long as you credit him on the PRS royalties, he's okay.
It's all about the dollar. That's fine. Okay. Poetry's out the window. No, it's not. It's this is one of the loveliest songs written in the 20th century, and you're going to cover it now.
Thank you. It ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe, if you don't know by now. It ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe, it'll never do somehow. When the rooster crows at the break of dawn, look out your window and I'll be gone. You're the reason I'm traveling on. Don't think twice, it's alright. It ain't no use turning on your light, babe, a light I've never known. It ain't no use turning on your light, babe, I'm on the dark side of the road. Wishing there was something you would do or say to try and make me change my mind and stay. We never did too much talking anyway. Don't think twice, it's alright. It ain't no use calling out my name, gal, like you never done before. It ain't no use calling out my name, gal, I don't hear you anymore. Wishing and wondering, walking all the way down the road. I once loved a woman, a child untold. I gave her my heart, but she wanted my soul. Don't think twice, it's alright. So, honey babe, where I'm bound I can't tell. Goodbye's too good a word, babe, so I just say fare thee well. I ain't saying you treated me unkind, you could have done better, but I don't mind. You just kinda wasted my precious time. Don't think twice, it's alright.
I just had this very poignant image of you actually maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years ago in your bedroom or your parents' bathroom with a towel against the bottom of the door so the sound wouldn't leak out at 2 in the morning.
Right.
Getting that right.
Yeah.
Doing that and thinking maybe one day I'll do this.
Hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, I'm not. Well, one could tell a lot of work had gone into that. That was a beautiful cover.
Thank you.
Really
very much.
confident and expressive cover. That was absolutely lovely.
Thank you.
Well, everyone, you've been listening to Kerri Watt, New Kid on the Block. Obviously going places, and you really are going places. You're on tour, aren't you? You're going to Shepherd's Bush Empire on the 17th of October. Tell me if I get these wrong.
Last night.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah, sorry, that's last night. Okay. Whoops. October the 19th, you're in Copenhagen.
Yes.
Okay. October the 20th in Hamburg.
Mm-hmm.
You do like going abroad, don't you? And October the 29th in Ghent in Belgium. Anything else you want to plug or push at this given point in time?
Well, I guess the cover I just played will be available on iTunes later tonight, actually.
Later tonight?
Yeah.
Lovely. Well, it'll be worth downloading or uploading. What do? Do you download or upload?
I think you download.
I think you download it. Okay, fine. Thank you very much, Nico. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you so much
and
for
listen to
having
you.
me.
I think you're fantastic.